Hi, and welcome back to Print Island. This time it's the Layover with Dscoop. We are heading back from the Rockies, and I'm delighted to be joined by Dave Rosendahl, aka the Chosen One. This time we're not in the airport lounge because Dave's already made it home, and I never left home. Dave, welcome back to Print Island. Dscoop Edge Rockies. What have you got to say?
It was amazing, man. You know, we missed a lot of our friends, you and the other folks in the Middle East who were impacted by, the world event. So it was a little bit of a bittersweet moment not to be able to have, some of the folks that we were looking forward to seeing. But that aside, it was an amazing event. I think that having it in the Gaylord, which brings, everybody together under one roof, really helped drive the connections that people made with each other and the sense of community that Dscoop is known for. So fantastic event. And just excited to be able to share a little bit of what we learned with your audience.
The energy looked amazing from the outside, Dave. I was going to ask you what your highlight was, but I think the question should be, what are your highlights from the event?
Yeah, I would say two things. I would say on the MindFire side, the industry that we serve, direct mail printers, it's challenged right now. USPS says they're going to run out of cash. There is a negative downward slope in terms of direct mail volume. Folks are competing over price, over fractions of a penny. And yet in that, there's a lot of opportunity for technology to really be able to at least slow the curve of direct mail decline. And then, our goal is to make it go back up. And so there's kind of a perfect storm right now of factors in the industry, companies understanding that they have to evolve or die. And, the technology that we bring, like AI and other things to the market that are really coming together. And it was good to be able to see that and have real conversations with people around how we can help and the challenges that they have and how the technology solves for that. So that was one highlight for me. And then on the other side for Sheet for Brains, the initiative that obviously you're very involved with here, it was remarkable to be able to see through the 3 sessions that we had the opportunity to present with Glenn Packiam and John and Jess, that there is a real hunger, kind of a latent demand underneath the surface of, hey, everything's great, everything's wonderful that we all, say at these events. Underneath all of that, there is a deep need for connection, for love, as wishy-washy as that sounds, and a sense that we really have product market fit here with what we're doing on the Sheet for Brains side. The product, if we could call it that, the need that we're servicing and the demand that's there's really a tight fit. And so it was just certainly a highlight for us to see how well that's coming together.
Dave, not going into too much detail because obviously the sessions at Sheet for Brains are private, but, I was hearing a lot of emotion and a lot of people letting their barriers down. And I know that was something that took you guys by surprise. I mean, is there anything you can share without giving any sort of personal details away?
Sure. I think that generally the ladies in the industry are much more in touch with their feelings, right? It's kind of cliche, but it's generally true. They do a better job at communicating with themselves and having their feelings manifest. And so what we saw last year when we did our first event, were some tears in the room. There was folks that were crying. And then this year, we kind of expected the same because we had seen it last year, certainly from the ladies in the room. And again, I don't mean that with any disrespect. It's just, ladies, you're more in touch with your feelings. What was interesting this year and what caught me by surprise is that there were a lot of men that were crying. And it wasn't just, dudes our age or dudes that are younger than us. It was, the OGs of the industry that were also being very vulnerable, very emotional, and crying. And I think that, that's remarkable to see. And it's a testament to what we were able to create in that room, those 3 sessions that made people feel comfortable by the end of that 3.5 hours that we were together, made them feel comfortable enough to be able to express their emotions.
Okay. I mean, that's fantastic, Dave, that you were able to bring those barriers down, right? And that's why you were there delivering those sessions. But let's swing back to MindFire for a minute, if you don't mind, because obviously you did some great stuff with those guys. Well, your guys, they're your company, as it were. What did you bring to Edge Rockies? That's what I would like to know, because obviously I missed it. So to give me the elevator, what did you bring? What did I miss?
Yeah, what we brought was a sense of hope. For the industry, as I said, it's challenged. And the way we look at the industry right now is that nothing happens until a print sales executive, a salesperson at a print company, nothing happens until they sell something to a customer, whether that's HP and needing to drive clicks, or MindFire and software, or XMPie and document composition use. None of that happens until somebody sells something. And so really what we are trying to do is to equip the printer, and specifically their salespeople, with not only the technology that they need to be able to differentiate, but also the know-how. There's sales training that's required here. There's mental rewiring. And what we're finding is the easiest way to really illuminate that for the print company and their salespeople is through what we brought to market. Here's an example of a direct mail piece in partnership with Silvamo, who was also exhibiting at the show, where the QR code, the PQR code, let's see, right there, the personalized QR code that, MindFire has historically done for a number of years. What's changed now with that is that when you scan that with your phone, your camera, this direct mail piece actually starts to have a conversation, an audible conversation with you, the recipient of the piece. And so what we're finding is the challenges that print salespeople have with getting the attention of the brand, the end customer, and having a conversation, pivoting from, arguing over, is it a penny or two more expensive than the competitor? All of that kind of goes to the side when the brand sees, wow, you can make the mail talk?
And you said, yes, I'm the mailman. I always
Yeah,
deliver.
exactly. And so this technology that we really kind of brought to the event and unveiled there at the event, MindFire and Silvamo and Sandy Alexander, there were a number of companies, think Patented, David McNerney, many organizations that were there powered by MindFire are, having new kinds of conversations with the market that is really just changing the way people view printers. And it's never been easier than now with this technology for printers to actually actualize that whole idea of pivoting from being a printer to offering more marketing services.
Wow. And that sounds amazing. I'm guessing there was a full demonstration of that on the stage. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Can we get, is there any information on that we can share in the description? Is there anything you want to share on that for people that weren't rookies?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we can throw it down in the show notes, but if anybody's interested, we have a video, a short demo video that we can show you of this, and then there's 3 easy ways to get started. We can include that as well in the show notes.
Excellent, Dave. What did you notice this year? You've been going to Dscoop now for 20 odd years, I think I got that right. I don't want to give your age away. Obviously, we know you're.
I was 10. I was 10 when I first went.
You started work young, right? Yeah. But what did you notice this year that was different? What did you notice? What surprised you?
It might just be me. So take this for maybe it's just me evolving as a person, but the conversations that I had, or maybe it's the sheet for brain stuff, the conversations that I had were largely on a human to human level, H to H. So, the B2B conversations that I would normally have, certainly those are there, but it was a lot of H to H connection. I'm thinking about Paul McCarthy, my friend. You remember we sat down together, Paul, for what, an hour, maybe more together, just connecting on a human level at the party the last night. And so I saw and felt a lot of that, the human connection. It was echoed through the keynotes, through the discussions that we had. Rachel from Kober did a fantastic job moderating on stage with an author that really talked about much in line with the Sheet for Brain stuff, kind of the value of mental health. We had Nick, speaker who doesn't have arms or legs, that got down, on the level of the audience and moved about the audience.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Spoke to Erwin, also from Kober.
Yeah.
And I just saw a lot of connection between Nick and Erwin. Erwin was crying. And I saw a lot of that, the human-to-human connection. That was noticeable to me.
Wow. Okay, that sounds pretty deep, man. People missed out, right?
Yep.
What would you take away? And you probably covered some of that in your last answer, but what would you take away from Edge Rockies?
Yeah, I just keep leaning in and doing more of what we're doing. The industry is certainly responding. It's a tough time, as I said, to be in print. I think everybody would agree. And yet there's a lot of opportunity, man. I know that you see the world similarly. I can barely sleep these days because I'm so excited by what's going on. There have been times Yeah, there have been times
Yeah.
when I can't sleep out of worry and concern.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of lack of sleep. This is a very energizing time to be alive,
Yeah.
and it is. I want to say probably the most significant point, certainly in my life. I haven't been alive prior to when I've been alive, but the opportunity that we have right now, if you are somebody with high agency, kind of a high belief in oneself, and that we have the ability to kind of influence the world around us, man, it's
Yeah.
never been a better time to be alive. And I'm just super excited by that.
Dave, we had you on the software matrix a few months back on Print
Did we?
Island.
I don't remember.
We did. No, we did.
Okay.
And you were enlightening and educating us all on the tech stack behind direct mail and why direct mail is growing. Your comments you just shared resonate in terms of excitement, but also concern. And I think there's a very fine line right now, isn't there, with world economics and the way our industry is motoring or sometimes not motoring. And then we have the excitement and the development of AI on the other hand, and the opportunity is very, very high. Do you feel that the opportunity, especially within the Dscoop community, is higher because we're starting to share and have those conversations? Or do you think we still need to do more of that? Do you think we're lacking those technical collaborations?
Oh, I think we've come a long way and certainly made significant progress there. There's always more that we can do, but yeah, I do see that there is significant progress there. I think one of the things that's unique about the Dscoop community is that, by and large, many of my print friends, they're kind of hesitant to share. They hold things close to the vest, and I don't see that at Dscoop. I see folks who would normally be competing or that the world would see as competitive sitting at the table, three or four, different company leaders sitting at the same table. I spoke to many groups where the leaders of each of those companies were with me, and they were openly sharing. In fact, many of them were in peer groups with one another, and Dscoop kind of brings all of those folks together. So I think that certainly there's more that could be done or that can be done and that is being done, but I saw a lot of folks coming together, both around the business side of things as well as technical. How are we solving these technical challenges and people sharing? Yeah, I see it.
Awesome, man. And then finally, Dave, what are you thinking? 2 months until Ljubljana, the next Dscoop. What are you thinking?
It's going to be interesting. I haven't been to Europe in a couple of years, so I'm very eager to see. I always like comparing macro trends and looking at where the world is, where the U.S. is, where North America is relative to the rest of the world. In many ways, we're ahead, but in many ways, we're also kind of behind in some areas. And I think technology doesn't really care what I think or what you think. This wave that's coming upon us is going to happen no matter what. And so for me, what I like to do is go out and collect data points, and disparate different data points, stories, interactions, things like that, to just learn what's going on in the world. So I'm super excited to be there for that. And then there's a lot of European companies that we've worked with over the years, friends that I haven't seen in a long time, face to face, again with the H to H, human to human connection thing. So I'm looking forward to that, and of course, Sheet for Brains is going to be there, bringing this to Europe for the first time. Is that right? Is this the first time?
I think it is, Dave. Yeah,
Okay,
I think
yeah,
it is. Yeah,
yeah.
going global.
So, yeah, exactly. So I'm looking forward to that.
Excellent. Dave Rosendahl, aka the Chosen One. Safe, I would say safe journey home, but you're home. So
I'm home.
You're
Yep.
home, and we'll see you next time.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.